What is up, everyone? This is Too Slow, aka Seabass, and today we're gonna be installing a rack and pinion. I have a refurbished power steering rack. It is from this company called Detroit Axle. I bought control arms from them a very long time ago for my dad's Matrix, and they've held up. So I decided to buy one of their power steering racks because originally they didn't have any in stock. I don't know why the hell they use this super long bolt. Seems kind of dumb. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off, and I don't need this bracket, so I'm also gonna cut this bracket off. It's just kind of in the way. But anyways, when I bought my power steering rack for the V6 Celica, it was from like a random ass company on eBay. They were rebuilding them, and they were the only ones at the time selling the power steering racks. Detroit Axle did not have any at that time, and so I was like, okay, well, I was gonna do the swap, and there was like a bunch of fluid leaks, and so I just wanted to replace everything with brand new stuff, and the rack and pinion was the only thing I didn't find brand new. So I bought it from a company on eBay a long time ago, and they only gave me about a year warranty. And you know, the Celica sat for almost a whole year with the swap, and I didn't really get to drive it and see that the seals weren't properly, I don't know, they didn't install them correctly. So it was just leaking a lot of ATF. And when I say a lot, I mean it, guys. The whole underside of my car is covered with ATF. So the leak was coming from here, this seal right here. I thought at first it was from here, from these areas, but I was telling myself, if it's leaking from here, then how is it that I have like a ring of ATF right here? So the reseal kit cost about $80. I could buy a reseal kit and reseal it myself, but I just don't have that type of skill. I don't have that type of patience. So I decided to buy it from Detroit Axle. They said that they pressure test these to make sure that they don't leak. Hopefully they aren't leaking. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and replace it with one of Detroit Axles. Hopefully this doesn't leak, because this is the only leak I have in the V6 Celica, and it's the one that's really bothering me the most. Always. I always have to be topping off the ATF, and it's not even like a slow leak. It's a pretty bad leak. So anyways, what do we have to do first? Well, I kind of already started disassembling the Celica. Mind you, this is a V6 Celica, so it's probably going to be a little bit different workroom from the inline 4 engine, the 5S or the 7A. But one of the first things I did was remove the lines. So I already went ahead and removed the lines. They're kind of just chilling over here. Move them out of the way. You can see right there the line, the hard lines. I kind of just moved them out of the way, but they're both 17 millimeter, so I went ahead and got those out. And you want to make sure you have like a drip bucket. You want to make sure you have a drip bucket to catch all the ATF. I already caught all the ATF, so put a piece of cardboard down there so it's not too bad to go under there. But once we got those lines off, we're going to want to go ahead and remove our wheels. And one thing we have to do is remove our tie rod ends. These are brand new, so I'm going to be very careful with them. You have a cotter pin right here. You have a cotter pin right there. You want to take off the pin. Then you have a, I believe this is a 17 millimeter castle nut. You want to take off that castle nut. Whack it right here with a hammer. Right here, not right here, but right here. Whack it with a hammer, unless you have a ball joint remover tool. But I think you'll tear the boot at that point. So you might just want to hit it right here with a hammer. Hopefully you guys got enough space to do that, and then this should pop up. Actually, you might want to break this first, the locking nut. Break the locking nut first. I believe it's also 17. Once we break the locking nut loose, then we're going to want to rotate this counterclockwise, and we're going to want to count how many times we take it off so that we can put it on the new power steering rack and kind of have a general idea on how to get it, like spacing it out, so that we can at least drive it to go get the vehicle aligned. So we're gonna want to straighten out the cotter pin right here, and then with some needle nose pliers, we just pull them out. And then we're gonna want to get I believe it's a 19 mil. Yeah, so we gotta get a 19 millimeter socket to get that castle nut out. All right, there you go. And then one trick I know is if we flip this over, put it back in and make it sit flush, about flush right here. You can then get a hammer and then just hit it. And there you have it. Should come right out and no damage to the threads. So then we remove our tie rod end, put this back in. And then we gotta break this free right here as well. And then we're gonna count how many times we turn it. So then we're gonna have this right here. This is one of the mounting bolts, but we can't get it from this side. We actually have to turn around, come at it from this way. Same deal goes with the other side. Hopefully the camera can pick it up. And you can kind of see, doing it by hand first, and I'm gonna get my cordless to get that bolt out, but should be easy. And this is what I have my setup. I have, I don't know, about a 6-inch extension with 17 millimeter and a swivel head ratchet, but I think this is already loose enough where we can start backing it out. That's gonna fall off right now, so just be ready for it. There you go. Almost hits my face, and just slide this out. Easy. Oh, that hit the phone. Oh, no, am I gonna be able to come out? Oh, snap. Guys, one of the things I forgot to say is we have to get the locking bolt out for the steering rack, which is that one right there, but we're not able to see it because we're not facing in that direction. So we got to come back in here and turn the steering wheel so that we can see it. So we want to center our wheel as best as possible. Feel like that's centered. The only reason it wasn't centered is because I was moving the steering wheel left and right to be able to reach the tie rod ends, but look at that. So guys, we have to go ahead and remove that bolt. It's a 12 millimeter. So once we got the bolt loose, we could get it out of here, and then this should come out. It's not going to be 100% easy, but if you mess with it a little bit, it should be able to slide right out. And then make sure you don't move this as much, because if you do, you will break your clock spring inside your wheel, or inside the steering column. This clock spring right here, you can't twist this all the way like that because it's going to rip the clock spring. So leave it as center as possible, guys. So we're gonna leave it there. With that being said, this steering rack should slide out now. We can do it from either side. I'm gonna do it from that direction because there's more space. I don't have that much space here. So actually, you know what, I'm probably gonna take it out this way just because of that. It'll make it a lot easier to slide it out this way. And that's exactly why you can't do this on a Celica. There's just not enough space to get that out. So next thing we have to do is drop the subframe, guys. You have this big bolt right here, and we have these 3 right here, and I think we should be able to sneak it out if we drop those 2 big bolts. Wish me luck, guys, but I don't know. So in order to get the steering rack out, it's not gonna fit right here, but if you get like a pry bar and then rest it on this where the tie rod end goes, so like this, you will have enough clearance to get the steering rack out. So you guys are probably gonna see this YouTube short or TikTok reel or Instagram reel, whatever you want to call it, but I went ahead and installed the polyurethane bushings for the motor mounts, but I had to use 3¼ inch washers from Home Depot, 2 of them, just so that it can I guess even out, because it felt like the motor mount insert was going to slide out to one point and I didn't want that to happen, so I ended up just using 2 big washers. But the one in the front is good. Let me get some light on it. Yeah, the one in the front, that one's good. So I'm gonna hold off on putting the side one. I do have it over here. I kind of just want to get the feel of how the car feels with just the front and rear. Other than that, extremely simple. I'm not gonna go into it with the motor mounts install. But other than that, now we should be able to install our steering rack. Steering rack is back in. There's really no right or wrong way to throw this in. As long as you're able to get it through this hole, you're set. This is what I did right here to kind of help out. I got a pry bar holding it right here on the frame and on the tie rod end location, so that kind of helped me out squeeze it through there. And obviously we already tightened the bolts. So steering rack's already installed, motor mount is also installed. So now let's put our subframe bolts back in. So we already connected our steering column to the steering rack. Go ahead and tighten the 12mm bolt. And you want to make sure you center your steering rack so that your steering wheel does enough rotations either way. So right now this is center, so you can see maybe about 1 3/4 turn. So let's recenter it. 1 turn. And so there you have it. It's all plumbed up. Got our high pressure and our return line installed. And steering rack is bolted up. Kind of can't see since there's barely any light. There you have it, all bolted up. So we're about to reinstall our shifter cables. And the only reason I took them out is because I wanted to double insulate them. So this time around, I insulated them individually and then I insulated together because the shift cables were resting on the exhaust manifold and it was causing them to burn up, and all this insulation burned off, so now it was just exposed wire. So hopefully this fixes the issue. Let's go ahead and throw them back on so that we can put the shifter assembly back together and maybe start this car. So I went ahead and lowered the shield so that I could get access to the shifter plate. Really easy to get to compared to the 7th gen Celica. But you can see that's how I'm running my rear O2 sensor. Just cut the hole through there, and then that's also how I'm running my wideband. So I'm gonna get these out of here. Gonna set this right here so that I can put my heat shield back on. So it's a whole ass week later. Sun's out. But yeah, it's a whole week later because when I was doing this job the following day, it started to rain like crazy, and it didn't stop raining for like a whole week. So I kind of took a week break, kind of caught up on some other things, but we're back at the Celica. I don't know which video I'm gonna release first. I think I'm gonna release the big brake kit one first, but here's that picture for the big brake kit on the rear. Looks pretty nice. And now we have to install our tie rod ends. And as I was saying, we need to count how many turns it takes us to get these off. so that when we put it back on that car, we at least know how many times to put it to turn it, and gives us an idea of how much we need to take it to the alignment shop or the alignment rack. So in order to do that, you're going to want to hold right here, and then on the other one turn right here. Once you break it free, then you start counting the turns. So I already broke it free. Now we're going to count the turns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 17, 18, 18. So we're gonna put this in 18 times, but we need to transfer over our locking nut as well. So let me go ahead and throw this on so that I don't get mixed up with the numbers. So we got our locking nut in all the way. We're gonna put this 18 times. 1, 2, 3, 18, 17, 18. All right, let's back this out, and then we're gonna go ahead and insert it and get our castle nut and go ahead and put it on. Imitating Scotty Kilmer. So there you go, it's tight. Don't forget about your cotter pin. We're gonna go ahead and put one on right now.